What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Venom, and today, guys, we're going to be discussing brain cancer. And so, to start off, we're going to talk about a little bit of the symptoms of brain cancer, how you know you could be developing, or if it is already developed. Some signs are weakness, dizziness when you walk, or just dizziness in general. If you have seizures normally, but if they're coming up like more often, then you could have, that's a sign, and constant headaches, which could also be a big problem. And some other symptoms that are pretty common are nausea, vomiting, blurry vision, and a change in a person's alertness. So, like, if usually you're pretty good with things, like you're like, oh, that's not right, or oh, my reaction time, stuff like that. Personality, so if they have mood swings, that could be a issue. The way they talk, and hallucinations. If you don't normally hallucinate and you start to hallucinate, that could be a problem. Now, what exactly is brain cancer? Brain cancer is a disease of the brain in which cancer cells, in which we call them malignant cells, which are the bad cells, arise in brain tissue, or they can grow somewhere else. So they can form maybe in like a bone or something. Maybe they formed in the bone. And the issue with that is they can spread, and that could be very dangerous. And also, what this does is it does move. The tumors do actually move, which could cause issues and all that other stuff, and the malignant cells will eventually, if they do not get killed off, they can keep spreading, and that could be a bad sign. Now, talking about brain tumors, only about 5% of brain tumors may be due to hereditary or genetic conditions such as neurofibromatosis, tuberous sclerosis, and there's a couple of others that we don't need to mention. Now, when you ask yourself, what exactly is tuberous sclerosis? TSC for short is a genetic disorder that causes tumors to form in various organs, primarily the brain, eyes, heart, kidneys, skin, and lungs. And it's also a leading cause for some things like epilepsy and autism, which we all know what those things are. Now, what is the other thing? What is neurofibromatosis? A condition that causes tumors to form in the brain, spinal cord, or nerves, which is a big problem. And there's different types. Type 1 can only cause deformities, usually appears in your childhood, when type 2 and 3 are early adulthood, which, again, more problems that we don't want to deal with. Type 2 can usually cause hearing loss, vision loss, and difficulty with balance, while type 3 can cause chronic pain throughout the body. Chronic pain is things like tendinitis and stuff like that. Other cases may require chemotherapy or radiation therapy or surgery. But the problem is, this thing cannot be cured, and it requires medical diagnosis, and you have it your whole life, which is a big problem. And to continue, some of the symptoms for neuro is pain areas. You usually will see the pain in the face. Pain types, usually chronic. Skin, if you notice things in your skin like brown spots, armpit freckles, or lumps, it could be anywhere on your body, that could lead to that. And now we're going to move on to brain cancer itself, the stages and grades. Grade 1, the tissue is benign. That means it's not a problem, and the cells look normal, and they're growing at a normal, slow rate. Grade 2, the tissue is malignant, which is the bad cells, and the cells look less normal cells than they do in the tumor of grade 1, and usually could spread and be a problem. Grade 3, the malignant tissue has cells that look very different from normal cells. The abnormal cells are actively growing, which is rapidly growing, and distinctively abnormal, so they could look totally different, and that could actually fool a lot of people because they think this is not a problem, and I'm not gonna have to deal with this. I'm okay. I don't have an issue. I'm doing okay, and that's where things can go really wrong. And now we move to grade 4. The malignant tissue has cells that look most abnormal and tend to grow quickly, and we know that cancer cells, malignant cells, do grow quick and they do spread quick, and which is why if cancer is not caught early, it is a big, ginormous problem. And I think if we help different organizations, we can help A, get cures, B, get different foundations to try to help find a cure and help find ways to fight it. And yeah, now we're going to move along to the myths section of the video. All the pain. Alright guys, moving on to the myth portion of today's video. We're going to be looking at one of the only myths I could really find. It was really hard to find a myth for this video because there's just not a lot of myths out there that I could find, but the one that I found I thought was actually pretty interesting. And what I found was there are many home remedies that make claims of being effective in treating brain cancer and many other cancers. Most of the nutrition supplements include, but not limited to, herbs, fish oils, chokeberries, and many others. And now I'd like to believe that's real, but as it says, it's not real. It's not a way to cure the brain cancer or treating it. They've been shot down. I think they said like fish oils was like at a chance, but this myth has been pretty much busted. They said home remedies do not, I repeat, home remedies do not treat the brain cancer. But I thought this was a really interesting myth.